Hi! Before we get started, I wanted to let you know that the next 3 episodes of Quest Friends will feature heavy references to our side series, The Cookie Crew. Now, I want to make it clear that you don't need to have listened to The Cookie Crew in order to understand the next few episodes, but I do think that a knowledge of the side series will make them a lot more enjoyable. At the very least, I'd recommend that you check out The Cookie 3, which should be right before this on the feed. This 4-part side series comprises of a peace conference that kind of wraps up the Jagged Dream arc. So at the end of Crime and Courtship, Ray said she was going to have a peace conference because the Steadfast, Charmande Key, they still kind of wanted to go to war. And The Cookie 3 explores that peace conference and the myriad of comedic ways in which it goes wrong. As I said though, if you haven't listened to any of The Cookie Crew, we will include explanations for what is going on relevant to The Cookie Crew as it comes up. And you can always check our description for each episode's NPC list, which for the next 3 episodes is going to be a lot. So if there's a name you don't recognize, check that list and it'll tell you who that character or what that proper noun is, as well as the first episode it appeared or was referenced in. All right, with all that out of the way, previously on Quest Friends.
We need to leave right now. Right now, we need to wake everyone up because the wheel will be attacked in the next few days. Lowell knows exactly where it is now, and unless we have a lot more people here to protect it, everyone here will perish. Shock is going to activate his teleportation ability. And it's occurring to me, does my teleportation ability let us bring the ladybug too?
I'm just not sure what we'll need the ladybug for.
I mean, it can fly.
I keep forgetting that.
It has the beanie.
And Shock is just picturing home, that last day when he left the wheel and looked back over his shoulder.
During that time, you'll have to get up to the cloud and face that. I don't know. If you wanted to get up there without any of those things getting in, you need an army protecting this place while you're gone.
Well, since we can find people and we know where they are, we don't even necessarily have to call someone, we can just get them. I could teleport back and teleport people here. We have time after all, we have days. That's time enough to convince the wheel, and that's time to bring people here. That could actually work!
We start with white, and then other sensations kick in. The sound of impassioned, deliberate, if not always super well-informed hammering. The sight of a vibrant smile. Cute, adorable little chittering. A streak of chestnut across your white vision. When Shock teleported to the wheel, he thought of images of a place, but you're thinking of something very different, huh? You're thinking of her. And, as it has the past dozen times for everyone else who has gone on this adventure, the sensations eventually disappear from your memory and appear in front of you in person. Hop, you have teleported to grab another recruit. And as much as going into this, your mind was focused on who you were looking for, Sarah very quickly becomes the least of your concerns. You look around you and you see it's like a Chuck E. Cheese. There are some animals in the corner, this just robotic velociraptor.
I get to see him again.
You baby boy.
Which is surrounded by flames being put out by this group of 3 pirates who are jumping off of a pirate ship that has crashed into the wall. And for a second you wondered, Sarah was at the Peace Summit, right?
I think so.
But you snap your brain back in the focus and you focus in on the grinning face in front of you.
Sarah, you know how you gave me this for emergencies? One of those is happening, and we could really use your help.
And that's when the airplane hits you in the side of the head.
Ouch.
And you turn over to see that Sarah is accompanied by 4 other people. For those listening in the Cookie Crew, there were actually 5, but Madeline she's gone off. She's somewhere else right now.
Right before you got there, she was like on a shepherd's hook and she just skated backwards out of the room.
Just pulled off screen. And I would like the players of the protagonists of the Cookie Crew to tell me who they are, who their character is, and give me a very brief description about what their deal is.
I could go first.
All right, go first, Olivia. I know you've been waiting for this.
You've hyped us up.
I haven't been waiting and I haven't been hyping, and that's not true. I'm so nervous. Okay. Hannelore, I think at this moment I was wearing a flamingo's Hawaiian shirt. And I think at the moment that like the attention turns to Hannelore, her false mustache slips limply from her nose and silently onto the carpet. To describe Hannelore, the Hannelore Dunn, operator of Red Mary, a roaring diesel. I have a page cut, and I am a mechanic.
So Hannelore, she, her, played by Olivia, also she, her.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
All right, let's introduce the other, not new, you've been doing this for a while, but new to some other listeners, cast members. So Cassidy, I guess I've already introduced you.
Yeah, that's me. I'm Cassidy. She, her. I play Aref, who is also her, she, and she is a very light, silver-haired female with a cape that always billows, even if she's indoors, especially when she's indoors. She's a Nano, and she was a cop for a while before she was a diplomat, and everybody seems super interested in that, but she never wants to talk about it.
Don't worry about it.
She pipe-headed people.
Pipe-headed people's brains.
We all know.
Something Emily's character was very interested in. So Olivia and Cassidy may be new to some of you, but Emily and Ari certainly are not. So Emily, tell us about who your character is.
I'm Emily, she, her, and they, them. And I play Ig, who is she, her, and they, them. Ig is a nano. Her full title is the Incredible Igneous Artiste of Astaria, and she does fire.
So much fire.
A lot.
Anyone who hasn't listened to the Cookie Crew, just know that Ig is Vespari's little sibling.
Yeah!
And that's all you need to know about Ig to understand who they are as a person.
This is true.
And then finally, Ari, who are you playing today?
Hello, I'm Ari, she, her, and I'm playing Angelina Lexington, or Alex for short. She is the treasurer of Anastasia Blackleberry. I forgot her name. I'm sorry, Hallie. It's okay. She is currently post being on fire, which may or may not have been caused by Ig, and she likes paper airplanes, which also may or may not be involved with Hopper's airplane experience.
Definitely not, anyone could have made that paper airplane.
Airplane definitely didn't fly off in the middle of combat and come back at the end just to hit Hopper in the face.
No.
Did Hannelore have some part in activating the dinosaur robots? I can scarcely remember.
Yes. Oh, yes, you did.
They're jiving right now.
As I'm speaking, the dinosaurs are. It's like I'm in a weird VR setup where they're mimicking all of Hannelore's movements and nervous gestures. So like they're all sort of fiddling with their hands in front of their tums.
I described them as surrounded by fire, so that's just a nightmare.
Just sort of awkward. It's like so awkward that we're the only ones on fire.
Just imagine like an awkward handshake from a velociraptor surrounded by fire.
Velociraptor with like a salad bowl on its head or something.
Yeah, you got the salad bowl.
We really can't get into it. We can't get into it.
Salad Raptor, and if you want to know more about Salad Raptor, you should listen to the Cookie 3. He's my baby.
So Hopper,
Yeah.
you see Sarah,
Okay.
you see these 4 diplomats, and you see Salad Raptor
Salad Raptor.
surrounded by flames that these pirates are putting out. Yeah. And all you can say upon seeing this is...
Oh, hi. I'm Hopperscotch.
Hi.
I expect Sarah to take the wheel. Same.
Hello, I'm the Incredible Igneous Artiste of Astaria, and if you were wondering, I didn't set any of these fires.
Oh,
A bowl of punch just falls off a table behind us.
The punch is on fire.
Hopper will turn back to Sarah and say, weren't you at a peace conference?
Yeah?
So it went well then.
Yeah. She just nods her head with like a really excited, proud of herself smile.
Somberly, Ig shakes their head from behind her.
Aref's gonna just say, this is about as peaceful as things can get with us sometimes.
We definitely did our best.
I feel like Alex has thoughts.
Well, I'm just gonna say sorry about that paper airplane. It was definitely not meant for you. Usually I aim it better than that, but seeing as how I was on fire, I'm no longer on fire, as you can see. Anyways, I am Angelina Lexington, or Alex for short. Nice to meet you, Hopperscotch.
Nice to meet you, Alex. I'm glad that you're not on fire anymore. I'm glad that the fire doesn't appear to be as active as it could be. Looking around at people actively, like...
A piece of the roof just falls down.
I gesture at many, many spent fire extinguishers that, like, most of them didn't extinguish a fire, but we did our best to try to use them. I'm Hannelore, by the way, and I wave, and all the dinosaurs wave.
Hopper is a little bit alarmed by all the dinosaurs waving at him at once. He just wasn't prepared for it.
Oh, sorry, I just want to get a full profile of you. So what is your occupation in this? I just need to make a quick biography here in my notebook. I do that for every people I met, and I haven't met you before, so...
She's great. Yeah.
So Hopperscotch, that's my name. I came from the Wheel of Boz is what it's called, and it's just kind of... It's in trouble. There's this cloud that is kind of my friends and I fault, but I'm not. And he reaches out and grabs the first like cup that he finds at a table and just like downs it.
Oh, no.
I don't know if I would.
Hannelore just goes ghost, just so pale. Something happened to it.
Was it all of the punch?
Is the punch still spiked?
I feel like it was the fifth one, so I feel like we need a 1 in 5 chance that it's been spiked.
I forgot that I did that as a GM, and
It's not so fun now, is it, Hallie?
All right, Hallie, roll me a d20, and we're going to go 1 through 4. You got spiked by the punch.
wait. I rolled a 3. So
You poisoned yourself! I poisoned myself!
So,
This is great.
Hallie, you were the GM of the Cookie 3, which earlier I said people should probably listen to. I feel at this point they should definitely listen to it.
Okay.
But for those
Hallie should have listened to
who
it.
aren't familiar with it, it involves a plot where the punch gets spiked. What's the effect of someone who drinks that?
Oh, this spike was just like make everybody angry because the Angulandites
that's
wanted to stoke a fight.
So Hopper's about to just be a strange man entering this party and yelling at us.
Well,
Hopper, you are suddenly uncontrollably angry and you don't know why.
man. You know, I'm just angry because there's this fucking cloud and we have to fight it and it's hurting all my friends and it's hurting a lot of other innocent people as well and I feel so powerless. We've been running, all of us. We got magic to work and now we're going from town to town and we're talking to people who we think may help us. So we are just, you know, everybody's looking around. I'm really glad that I found you, but it just like makes me mad that I even have to ask for help with something like this. You know, this shouldn't happen in a civilized society. This is ridiculous.
Sarah's just nodding her head like, yeah, you tell them. You tell those spiders. And in fact, when you're done, she's so proud of you. A tear goes down Chitter's eye. They're just so happy you've opened yourself up emotionally.
To allow him to express a negative emotion.
I am just so happy that the only effect of Hopper imbibing this rage potion is that he dropped an F-bomb for the first time in his life.
Alex is gonna turn to Sarah and say, "You were right. He is great. I like this." And she's just gonna start also screaming about the injustices of spiders and the world. She's convinced.
Hannelore, just knowing nothing, like has a cookie and gives it to Ig to give to Hopper. Just like, you're nice. Go for it.
Ig will slowly.
I give them a second one so that they'll have one when they're done delivering the cookie.
Thank you. Ig is like standing. She doesn't go forward at all, but like slowly stretches her arm further and further out towards Hopper, and like eventually will have to start leaning forward, but won't move closer. Would you like a cookie? While
I
you
would
wait.
love one.
I maybe you could eat your cookie and wait for the punch, which was actually not our fault. Honestly, the fire was kind of my fault, but the punch was actually not our fault.
No.
How does Hop angrily eat a cookie? What is his fury cookie eating like?
It all goes in at once. He just stuffs the whole, I imagine like a small, like ginger snap sized cookie. And it just like
Like a fucking hamster, just a big
yeah,
bulge.
it's like in his cheek, and he's just like anger chewing.
Ig copies him.
It's adorable.
2 thumbs up from Hannelore. Like, if you look up,
Ig will turn around and like thumbs up back.
While you're eating, Sarah has an edge in to kind of bridge the gap here, so to speak.
The cookie finally shut him up, so she can
he was hangry.
You're not you when you're hungry.
Yeah, so anyway, these are my cousin's diplomats. They're very effective, very straightforward. And everybody, this is Hopper Scotch, and you hear a low and Chitters has already gotten onto Hop's shoulder and given him a big face hug.
Aww.
Chitters likes him. That's really all you have to know.
It is though. Hopper's still like a little bit angry, like hopped up. Anger potion. So he
Aerith uses pipettes in people's brains.
Oh, there it is.
We're really good at stuff.
Yeah. There have been several disasters that happened, but they could have been a lot worse.
Or better.
Let's talk about the issue you're having.
Right. You have spiders.
You personally have spiders?
No,
Okay.
I don't personally. So listen, my friend's home is the Wheel of Boz, and it's home to a robot community, and we have convinced them to let us help them fix shields and everything, because we know that an attack from the cloud is coming soon. So we just need to be prepared. So actually, we've all been going around asking people for help, and I came to ask Sarah, but you all seem effective. So
Effects happen because of us.
We have a car.
Can I bring the car, by the way? Thank you, Aerith. I was just about to bring that up. Do you have room for a van? Do you know what a van is? It's sort of like a rocket ship or a boat, but it's just for the land.
It has condiments. Napkins.
Yeah, it's got napkins in there. Those are in a glove box, and I do need to bring her with me. It's like 90% of my character.
So
Hopper will twirl the staff a little bit and say, I think that can be arranged. He doesn't twirl it well. It's not a good twirl. It's like
give me a roll.
he goes to like
He angrily twirls it, which is also not
Good thing it's strong glass.
probably not good.
7.
So you could fight your glass shot.
All right, drop it. And then he's like, oh, I hope I didn't break Shock's strong glass staff. And then he will pick it up and finish. I think I can do that. I think I can do that.
And as you're having all this conversation, Hop, you can feel a hand brush against yours and then quickly retract. And then Sarah, a little more sheepishly, touches the strong glass staff. Can I?
Hopper thinks so. He almost broke it earlier when he dropped it. But it is strong glass, so, like, that's pretty hardy, right? But, like, this is Jacques' special thing. He's trying to be very careful with it. But Sarah is smiling at him and asking. So, yeah, it's gonna go to Sarah.
The staff is away from you, and she picks it up and slams the staff onto the ground. And the Red Mary is surrounded by this blue light as a hum emanates around all of you. And the blue light rises on the side of the vehicle and is replaced by golden sparkles, which slowly disappear the Red Mary and its inhabitants out of existence. And in a second, all you see is white. And the first time Shock went to the wheel, he could sense specific things of it. when Hop went to see Sarah, he could sense the specific things about her. But you just sense a cacophony of information, sounds, lights. It is absurdly overwhelming. But just when you're starting to get a little bit of a headache, you blip back into reality someplace else. Now, I wanted to write one description for this, and it was the description of what it looked like when you arrived. But I couldn't. I mean, how could I? Trying to describe what you see is like trying to describe every voice in a crowd. It's like trying to describe every flower in a field. It's like taking every single description I have ever written for Quest Friends and trying to merge it together. You see so many things. You see a weird frog centaur hopping down at this bay. A flock of majestic quails swims in the air in front of you.
Oh my god.
You can hear so many people talking and yelling a faint chorus of You are in the Wheel of Boz, but it is weird to call it that because it is in a state the wheel has never been in before. This group has emerged in the Ring of Power in where Shock's old house was. But the house has been almost opened up like a dollhouse that can split in between. So you can actually see the open air in front of all of you. And as you're trying to get your bearings, Hop walks out of the vehicle and motions you towards a welcoming committee. You see a banner that says, "Welcome to the Wheel," and it's super bright and colorful, and it's got like glitter and stuff. In front of it, you see this small circular robot, Cubo for everyone else, and next to him you hear the marching band song playing from a single tuba by a small fish lady. And Megan continues to play her little marching band introduction song as Cubo says, "Welcome to the Wheel of Boz, Seraphinia, Delilah, Willow, Brackleberry, and Chitters. I do not recognize these other individuals. They were not on the list."
They're surprise reinforcements. It was really nice of you all to agree to come help. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. This is the Brackleberry Brigade.
We're really good at things.
I zip up my coveralls so that you can see the name Hannelore. And also just to cover up the casual Hawaiian shirt I was wearing before. Hannelore.
Arif's totally on the defensive and just kind of expecting something to go wrong.
Is this a resident of this place? You said it was just machines. Is he like the mayor?
Cubo is actually from a place called Roulettia. Before then, I don't know, but that's where we met him. He is the quantum beneficial quorum of beneficial outputs. I said beneficial twice. He has a name that's very long, and I feel bad for not remembering it.
It's short of Admisha's name.
But he's very helpful. He's our friend, and you can trust him.
As Megan continues to play the song, she faltered for a second because normally it would stop, but she's not sure, so she keeps playing. The little orb just rocks back and forth. Cubo's not quite sure how to respond. And then eventually... Perfect! I have found perfect positions for 4 new recruits like you. Please follow me and my companion here. And Cubo rolls off with Megan following him.
Understood.
Okay.
Ig has started wandering off, so someone should.
Hannelore looking around her elbows, realizing that Ig is gone.
And you set the Brackleberry Brigade loose in the Wheel of Boz. Will they be more helpful than the spiders, or will they be an even greater threat? Only time will tell. Hello Hello and welcome to Quest Friends episode 78, The Obsidian Cloud, part 5. I am Kyle, your GM, and our intro and outro songs are Friends and Hitoshio, both by Miracle of Sound. We are in the endgame now. 5 episodes left in this campaign. Big ones, too. This is probably going to be our second shortest out of the 5. Thank you so much for coming on this adventure with us and seeing it through to the end with us. Thanks for my players. Thanks to folks like David S. Steer, who is voicing Horace again in this episode. A lot of us worked real hard to get to this point, and I'm real excited for what these episodes hold. But I'm also excited for the future. And in order to help best figure out where we're going to go from here, we need your help. So in the description below, you are going to find an audience survey. This survey has information to help us determine what our audience is like, what y'all like, and the best way to make the best season 2. Every field is completely optional, and it would mean the world to me if you were able to fill out any answers you had thoughts on. As a thank you to anyone who fills out the survey, you can provide your email at the end, and we'll actually send you the first batch of season 2 episodes when they go to press. So that'll probably be early 2022. There's also a field where you can answer Q&A questions. So previously I said I was going to try to get an episode out each week. As you can see by the length of this episode and the fact that I said this was the second shortest one, that's just not viable. So we are going to go with our bi-weekly release schedule. But a cool thing about that is that actually means our final episode is going to be releasing on our 4-year anniversary, September 25th. And on that day, we're going to live stream the finale episode, and we're actually going to have a Q&A afterwards. So if you have any questions at all you would like to ask us about the show, our thoughts about it, thoughts about characters, the questions can range from serious behind-the-scenes stuff to, we got a super fun question asking about what we would do if we wrote indulgent fan fiction. So anything goes. So if you'd like to submit a question, you can always send us a message anywhere. On our contact page, on Twitter, on Tumblr, or, as I said, if you check that survey in the description, one of the last questions will be a space for the Q&A questions. All right, thanks again for listening to my long explanation of the survey, which, by the way, it's open until September 24th, so the day before the finale episode comes up. I'll probably mention it in future announcement breaks, but it'll be just a quick reminder. The main description was in this one. As I mentioned, we're going to be going bi-weekly, so our next episode will be releasing on Monday, August 16th. But if you'd like additional content before then, you can find stories, artwork, and behind-the-scenes insights at patreon.com/questfriends. Okay, so it has been a few days since our last main session, since the beach episode. In that time, you have recruited a whole bunch of NPCs. Essentially, between last session and this one, I reached out to the players. I had a big old spreadsheet of every NPC I could remember, and you went down and you said which ones you wanted to bring and which ones you very much did not want to bring. And that's going to be our list. They won't all be in this episode, because this episode instead is going to focus on a second list. So you said all the characters you wanted to bring back, which was a few dozen, and then each of you gave me 3 to 4 characters that you specifically wanted to speak to before your characters left off to go punch a brain boy, but in a very physical way, because he's going to be physically there in the cloud and you can actually punch him.
Oh, Michelle's so excited.
It's gonna be great.
Finally, after all these, I was gonna say years, but it hasn't been that long. After all these...
I mean, it's been years for us.
It's true.
It's been years for you. It's been about a month and a half for the characters.
After all these months and a half, Michelle will be able to actually punch Loel. That's all they ever wanted to do.
So we're going to go through that and have you talk with your NPCs, because at this point, all of them have been brought in. Sarah and the Cookie Crew are actually the last bunch. So just off screen, I guess, because Ray was also in the Cookie 3. Ellie just warped in, grabbed Ray, left. Was all very impractical. But before we get to that, let's talk level up. Because in these couple of days, you have all actually had time to level up. You are tier 6. This is your final level up. What did you take with it?
I can start if no one else wants to, since I may or may not have planned this out like 4 years ago when I decided every single spell I was going to pick at every level up. I think I mentioned that Shock had been tinkering with little bits of Argent since the Prodigious, and that was part of the inspiration and power behind the teleportability. But Shock has gone even further beyond and cracked some of the secrets of time itself. And so as my final esotery, Shock has taken Freeze Time. You cause time to stop flowing everywhere within immediate range for 1 minute. The effect immediately ends if I leave the area or use an action to end it early, and it affects everything in the area except for me. And when the effect ends, everyone resumes what they're doing as if no time had passed.
Okay, any other skills or abilities you want to bring to the table?
What the hell was my skill? It's been so long since I actually did the level up. What did I raise here? I think I maybe became specialized in resisting telepathic intrusion if I didn't do that at tier 5, but I think I only became trained in that at tier 5, right? Right?
I honestly can't remember. In either case, the freeze time is the scene stealer.
It's the juicy one. Like, everything else is just continuing to raise my int to levels unheard of, not putting a single point in anything else, as is my want.
I do want to know, what is your full int?
Oh, yeah. I have 43 intellect currently.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ!
Jesus.
With 6 intellect edge, which is as physically high as it can raise. You are not allowed to raise an edge above 6.
But still 9 might, right?
Yep, 9 might, 9 speed, 0 edge in both.
God.
But 43 intellect, which means I am 18 points of damage away from being completely unable to act at all times.
But was it worth it for the 43 intellect?
Absolutely. My wizardly power is unfucking matched. I can't wait to be able to rain spells down for days on end and then just get slapped once in the final boss fight and not get to play the game.
Well, your wizardly power does have one match because it does come from someone else. Misha, what are your level ups? So we have seen Move Mountains. We know that one because you did it.
I did it.
But I know you mentioned, I don't think I had this in the episode, I know you changed some of your lower level abilities.
God.
And you have something new for your focus.
You know, you remember more than I do because I also did this a long time ago. Now I need to see. Oh, I think I forget what I took out. I think it was the hot and cold because I didn't actually ever use it. So I had a barrier now. You create an opaque stationary barrier of solid energy within immediate range, which is a thing that I debated doing to save the ladybug. And then I was like, no, let's go all out. Instead of making a barrier, let's just move a mountain. And I did that.
Amazing.
I don't know what else I added, but I can flex and say that I have 30 intellect total and then 18 might. So even though I don't have the wizard powers of Shock, I do have 18 might, so I won't be knocked down immediately.
Double my durability in combat.
Yes.
What's the tier 6 esotery?
I know it's something fucked up.
Yeah, that's it. It is further my focus. I remember it is data sphere control because I also debated using it whenever we recorded the thing of just making the robots do what we want because I have that ability, and it was like,
why are our foci basically the same?
Because we were meant to be. Our characters were meant to be.
But no, I meant what was your tier 6 spell like from the spell list?
Move Mountains.
Oh, that Move Mountains is the tier 6 one?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a lower tier for some reason.
It's 9 fucking int. It is not a tier.
What an insult that is. It looks so weak.
No, that wasn't what I meant. I just, for some reason, thought it was like tier 5 or something.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's my tier 6 skill.
I'm sorry.
So, speaking of characters who are frequently sorry, shit, that's a good transition for both Ellie and Hop.
I had no idea which character you were doing.
I was
next.
like, this is gonna be a surprise.
I'm going to be offended on their behalf.
Ellie, what were your upgrades?
I'm still insulted that it's me, though.
I thought it was for Hop.
The one that I wanted to tell you about specifically is that I now have 6 armor.
Fuck you.
And I I didn't choose that.
That's part of a focus.
It's just
Oh, I didn't choose that. I just got this ability. Oh, I'm Emily. My hands are clean.
no, I did my spiteful thing with armor last level up.
Exactly.
This
So
one
now
just
this has
happened.
compounded on your spite.
Local game master very angry that party's tank can tank.
The other big one I have is that I took finishing blow. If a foe is stunned or prone or disarmed, and I strike them again, I can inflict 6 additional points of damage. So it's a hit them while they're down, they'll go down faster, I guess.
Like how Tom destroyed the mic with his
Yeah.
sinister laughter. All right, let me just go to Aegon's character sheet, give him a few more hit points.
Please don't.
How dare you.
Please don't.
Look, we still have to roll well to do anything.
You know, I may or may not got you covered on that end.
Yeah, like it's not like Hallie's the one dealing damage. That argument doesn't hold water.
Wow.
Rude.
Why do you hate us so much,
Hallie,
Kyle?
you rolled a 3
You-
to avoid
you
spiking yourself
don't even-
with your own punch.
Yeah, but I don't see why that's relevant. Can I talk about my character sheet
Yeah,
and why I will
yeah.
be doling out damage? Okay, that was a transition. So the reason I will be doling out damage is because I took the invisibility skill, which is a jack skill. It's also a nano skill at a lower tier, but it's also a tier 6 jack skill, and I really wanted it. I can become invisible for 10 minutes, and while invisible, I am specialized in stealth and speed defense tasks. This effect ends if I do something to reveal my presence or position, such as attacking, performing an esotery, using an ability, moving a large object, and so on. But I can then regain invisibility by just, reinitiating the action.
So is the I need to know how Hop got this magical ability, unless it's just he's so good being a normal dude in the crowd that he can just blend in.
I like to think that's part of it, but then the other part, I think I took invisibility when he was a nano briefly for the chapter 5 finale in the data sphere. I think that was one of the esoteries that I took.
I can't remember, but I like the idea that you still have a brief connection to some little bit of the data sphere out there.
Yeah, he just inexplicably retained that invisibility ability. Invisibility ability.
Invisibility.
Yeah,
I'm very clever.
kind of like...
All right, and for your defend the innocent,
Oh, yeah. So, finally, I have unlocked Defend All the Innocent, meaning that now when I say I can protect everybody around me by declaring them innocent, I can actually do that instead of it being me forgetting I can only do it to one person. Now it's everybody, baby! Everybody's innocent, you're all protected, all your speed defense rolls are decreased by 1 step, so you're welcome. And I've still got my handy-dandy shield. And another important thing that I didn't realize I did when I upgraded was you can move one of your skills from trained to specialized, and I did that to my flex skill spot. So now anything I choose as a flex skill is a specialized skill. Currently it's DIY projects, because that was the last one I chose. I don't know what it's gonna be today,
Holy shit.
or tomorrow. I don't know what the final flex skill is gonna be. We'll see. Parallel parking didn't work out for me, but I might go back to that one.
Now there are 2 cars.
We've got more than 2 cars.
you have so many fucking
Because we
cars.
brought the Speedy Speed Boys in full.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, you've got the Red Mary, you've got the Speedy Speed Boys,
Purple frog.
you've got June
Yes, her RV.
from Questionable Measures, and she's got an RV.
Parallel parking it is then. I'm putting that in, and I am specialized.
Okay, so let's talk to some NPCs. So we are going to go back to when the Brackleberry Brigade, the protagonists of the Cookie Crew, have all gone off into the wheel to sow chaos and discord and potentially help, leaving behind in this open air version of Shock's home you, Sarah, and Chitters, who is still glomped onto the side of your face.
So this is just hanging out, right?
Yep, you're right next to the Ring of Power.
Cool.
Depending on how awkward you two are, depends on how long you two have just been hanging out here.
Okie doke.
Before Sarah eventually goes, So,
So, how I mean, I know the peace conference went well. You said that already, but how have you been since we last saw each other?
Oh, good. Hasn't been quite as exciting as... And she motions to you, but then motions to the rest of the crowd.
To everything.
But,
Yeah.
Zoe's nice.
Did Zoe go with her?
Zoe went with them, yes. You forgot about her in the Cookie 3. As well as Myra and Sunny, who are also there.
We don't need to put this on Hallie now.
We have discussed previously about how you have forgotten them.
This is unnecessary.
We have. This is not a good. No episode is good for me. So then, rewind. He'll say, "Oh, that's right. Zoe went with you. So you two were getting along then? I mean, you were before in the Prodigious, but I mean."
Oh yeah, absolutely. She's a great kid. Really good technical mind. She knows the names of all the things.
Oh, you know what? Now that you mention it, she was really good at she made little ships and bottles, didn't she? I seem to remember that. But that was before you met her too. I bet she would be really, really good at stuff like that. Does she help you build things and fix things?
Yeah, she helped me work on this. And Sarah starts like reaching around for something and eventually notices that Chitter has something in his mouth and just pulls it out of his mouth. And you can see that he was chewing on this little 20-sided dice. So this 20-sided dice is an item submitted by Ding Bing Bats, who's dingbingbats.tumblr.com. This was recommended as the prize for Hallie for, at least on the air, being the one who won our trivia night that we did a few months ago. So this is a cipher that you have, and what you can do is once Hop can use it, eat it, crush it, however you want to flavor it, and you can take a roll that you make and flip the dice over and take whatever the result on the opposite side was.
That would have been so useful an hour ago.
I had forgotten this suggestion on how it was the perfect gift/curse to give to Hallie.
And in fact, it's a many, many more sided dice with so many different faces, and it's got so many numbers and equations on it, half of which seem to be shoddily painted on. You can clearly tell where Zoe was able to use her hair to delicately calligraphy out a beautiful number, and Sarah just put on whatever she could. Yeah, if you came back, I thought you would like it, cause numbers.
Hopper is like too stunned by all the numbers on this die. Sarah called him out, and he's looking at all of these really pretty numbers, and he'll look back up at Sarah and go, "I love it. Yeah, numbers, but they're so... wow." And he can't think of any other way to express his feelings, but wow.
Well, luckily you don't have to, because that's when Ellie walks in.
Hi, y'all. I can leave now.
No, that's... Hi, Ellie. That's
Hi.
totally okay.
Hi. Yeah. Hi, Sarah. And Hopper.
Sarah turns over and looks at you, and her big, awkward, kind of flustered smile immediately turns to a deadpan frown. And she snaps, "Chitters!" And Chitters climbs off of Hop, gets on Sarah's shoulder, and just looks at you. Sarah seems to be glaring, but Chitters can't be mad. He's just staring.
Ellie, squares her shoulders and does a little, gearing up. Hi, Chitters.
Chitters immediately folds. He rushes off of Sarah, climbs up to you, and gives you a big hug.
Ellie is not a huge fan of this. It's like insects running all over you and stuff, that, gross feeling. There's just something. She doesn't know why. It's just a thing.
And at seeing your little squirming, Sarah finally breaks a smile and just laughs to herself and says, Chitters, come on. And Chitters climbs down and he climbs back up on her chair and back onto her shoulder. And she moves a bit closer to you and says a little more lightly, "So, still causing problems, I see."
Always. It just happens when I walk, and also when I open my mouth, and sometimes when I don't do either of those things. do you actually want me to, like, leave and stop being super weird? Like, I know you kids need your time.
Oh,
to
no,
be
no.
Kids.
It's fine. So, did you grab Mom already?
Kyle, did I?
Yes, you did. Sarah's the last one.
Yeah, it ended up that I went and grabbed everyone else so that Hopper could focus on the person he really wanted to see.
Oh. And she leans back to you, Hop, says, save the best for last, eh?
Hopper pulls down his hat a little bit because he can feel the tips of his ears turning pink the way they do when he blushes. And then he'll kind of clear his throat and be like, yeah, I was really excited to see you again.
Ellie pinches his cheek.
As she pinches his cheek as he was about to say, but I know Ellie was too. So, I can give you two a moment if you'd like.
Oh no, it's fine. I don't want to.
No, that's totally okay. Actually, and then he'll turn to Sarah. Thank you again for the die. And when you gave this to me, you said you were holding on to it in case I came back. And I just want you to know that I really want to come back. And then because Ellie is still there, he'll like shift his hat a little bit to cover his face from her because he's embarrassed. I like you a lot and I'd really like to see you again. And then he'll give a nod to Ellie and then he's on his way.
I like you, and then flees immediately from the scene.
Well, yeah, if she doesn't respond, he runs away.
And there's another pause.
I was going to apologize for assuming that I was interrupting something, but clearly I actually was, and now this is kind of really weird. But I'm very happy for you, and, I'm hoping that maybe, later on, we could catch up. Or
something.
Or not.
Allie. And Sarah gives a big sigh that you have not heard her give to you for 15 years. I watched you and Mom awkwardly flirt for so long. Now you know how it felt. And her eyes turn to little, almost like stars of excitement as she says, but I heard there was a generator that needed fixing. Ellie, you lead Sarah up towards the generator, which again, the generator is off near one of the edges of town. It powers the barrier. So you're taking Sarah, and she immediately sees the generator and just switches her chair to like the athletic mode and speeds off. It's almost like a car tearing off, just...
Sarah, do not electrocute yourself.
You go off to chase Sarah, but you get distracted by the stash. The stash, again, is right next to the generator. It is this big pile of miscellaneous parts. And you can hear a buzzing from the stash as this robot cicada floats around it and goes, "Closed spaces?" And from inside the stash, you can hear a quiet voice go, "No, I actually think they're cozy." Public speaking? My friend Megan and I actually performed a song. Everything after that went bad, but the song went pretty well. Well, certainly you have had to have that horrifying dream of your teeth falling out. No, I don't think I've ever had that dream. Oh, come on, dear new friend Zoe, you have got to be afraid of something. And you notice that there are in fact dark blue thin tufts of hair emerging from inside the stash as CK is floating around it, speaking to Zoe, who is just deep inside of the stash looking for something.
Are you having fun, CK?
Oh, Ellie Badge, I'm certainly not having fun. You know it is my job to study phobias, and while I have a clear target in someone like you, your daughter is much more challenging.
Well, good. Not that I'm a target, but I mean good that she's challenging you.
I suppose, but...
How you doing, Zoe? You can get back out, right? You're not, like, buried?
I'm fine, Mom. I'm just looking for a few parts so I can make something. And CK's keeping me company. And you know the little periscopes? The hairs go and turn towards you as she starts talking to you.
Anything I can help with?
Oh, no, that's okay. Misha's already helping me. And Misha, sure enough, you, who has been recruited by Zoe previously, arrive at this point onto the scene.
Well, so I actually wanted to say that Misha has been the entire time because Misha is already helping Zoe. The way that they are is that CK has been carrying Misha all this time throughout this conversation.
Holy shit.
Because they have found that being up in the air actually provides a good vision point for them to look at different things from above. So
It's like searchlights, but just these purple lights zooming down.
yeah.
I'm just picturing the scene where, like, we've seen CK only from the back each time the camera's been on them, but suddenly he just rotates and Misha's just there. Salutations, Ellie Badge.
Yeah, and they will say, salutations, Ellie. I have found being in the heights is actually a very good way to analyze things from above. So
I'll admit I didn't expect that you were also up there.
it is fun. If you want, you could try it too. I could tell
Thank you. Oh, that's so very nice of you.
See, that's why I said you were an easy target.
I know. I have so many fears. It's fine.
That being said, I think it is time for a break. And CK sets you down, Misha, as Zoe steps out from the stash with just a pile of really, really tiny parts in her arms.
Ellie carefully does not touch them. It does kind of feel like up close would have made it easier to find these.
You would think so, but I actually was able to find them better from above because if I was up close, I would get distracted by the different bugs and crabs that kept being on the floor. And when I'm up, I cannot see them as easily as these parts.
Just a bunch of robo-bugs you see skitter out from underneath the stash.
Which I will immediately follow them.
Oh, bye. Zoe, just be careful, please.
And your beautiful, sweet baby girl looks at you and says, "Of course, Mom." But then with horror, she says a phrase that you recognize from another child of yours from 15 years ago.
Oh no.
Something that sounds almost rehearsed. "I never do anything you wouldn't do." And
Sarah!
she runs off. Speaking of Sarah, by the time you get to the generator, she is not there, Shock. Instead, you see three figures taking a look at the generator and at the spear with prismatic tips at the end. Ooh, this is so colorful. Oh, it is very colorful, Sunny, but I'm not sure if that would be helpful. Well, actually, the colors could be very, very useful at putting things together. I use colors all the time when piecing things together, although for me it was more related to my, wires? Shock, you walk up and you see Sunny floating around the generator. Next to her is Myra, who's taking a look at the spear and just making down notes. And next to both of them is, from Charmande, Shauna, the robot made out of wires with the little eggshell helmet. And she actually, because she can stretch, she's shifting between stretching all the way up to look at the generator where Sunny is, and then stretching down to talk to Myra, who's down on the ground.
Well, I guess your guess is as good as ours. I went into those ruins, and I guess I can read it all now. I think there was something about colors in there, but maybe that was just something whispered in the vines. It's still a very confusing civilization, so you may have a better understanding of how it all fits together than I do right now.
Well, all civilizations are confusing, although that may just be me.
No, you're right. I think it's even confusing for humans who grow up in it.
And Myra just nods her head. Her eyes widen, and she nods her head.
This was just a socially awkward club.
And Sunny, realizing you're there, goes, "Ooh, Oh, Shock, you're back!
Well, I didn't go too far. Just across the continent a couple of times.
Oh, always humble you and the rest of them are.
Well, it's not really through my power. Just, something borrowed, shared? I don't know. Anyway, Shock, trying to intentionally distract the conversation from that, also embarrassed, says, I don't think we had much of a chance to chat before, Shauna. I'm really curious what Charmande's been like since we left. Has there been more trouble since we fought Vera?
And Shauna will have been thinking to herself, she's saying, shared. It's on the tip of my tongue. And then after you speak to her, she goes, oh, right, yes, Charmande. So, after the heart of Charmande went down, which you caused,
Well, Mr. Mako.
the Charmande was kind of on edge because of that cloud, that really interesting cloud thing, which you also caused.
Okay, that is true.
And they were ready for war until that ship went down, which...
Yeah, it was us too.
And she looks over to Myra, who just nods. Yes, you also caused that as well. So... But we've made great strides in finding a new energy source.
I am very glad to hear it. You...
Oh, right, that's what I forgot. Shared. And Shauna unfurls some of her wires to reveal this knotted wooden jar, which is glowing with this blue light moving through it like a river. Don was looking for you, but wasn't able to find you. He wanted to give you this.
Oh, well, thank you. What is it?
Well, remember that nearly infinite energy source in Charmande, the one they called infinite, but really wasn't infinite?
I think I remember that from our time there.
Yeah, that's it. Don't drop it.
Shock is just going to very delicately, slide it into a part of the robe and,
set this live grenade in your bag.
Tie it snugly, ugh.
This is a little piece of the energy from the heart of Charmande that Don was given by one of the player characters in the What If spin-off series, which was given to him specifically with the intent of finding its way back to the main party. So before this, Tom requested to have...
I was the only voice pushing for this one gift from this party to ours needs to make it to us by the finale. But anyway, Shock is going to say, well, thank you. We're going to need all the help we can get to get through this. And then he just sort of shuffles for a moment, looking up and down and says, I'm very glad you're still here with us, Shauna. You seemed kind of out of it when we last met, so I'm very happy to know that things are getting better.
Well, of course! We make things better. We find a better way. I have you to thank for that.
And Shock will smile. And then also, turn to Myra and Sunny and say, also thank you, both for coming back and helping us, but also for all of your advice. It was good.
Well, I'm glad we could help however we could. We made this mess, and it only feels right that we help fix it.
All right, so I want to know more about this. So teach me, show me what we're working on, and I will help in any way I can.
Of course, we'll tell you everything we've been able to figure out. But, Sonny, we haven't... Nothing! We figured out nothing. Speaking of nothing... Someone is selling nothing somewhere else in the wheel. We are going to move back to the town square. There's a lot of folks here, a lot of machines. I do want to make it clear that machines of the wheel are helping out all over the place during these scenes. I'm focusing on the NPCs, but it's not just them going in and fixing stuff for the wheel. The wheel is an active participant in this. And that means they're an active participant in getting sold to, because there are a few shops that have set up in the main central area of the wheel. The most notable one is actually semi-blocking the way into the reference section City Hall. It is this colorful wagon that folds out onto a stage. There are little gummy people bouncing back and forth to the music of this, which is labeled on top, Dr. Thistle's Mystical, Magical Instruments of Wonder and Magic. And Misha, you recognize this song. And I imagine you're just sitting there listening to it. It's the exact same song as it was 2 months. It's only been 2 months. Exact same song, focused a bit more on the machines. And afterwards, the crowd does not boo. They aren't the same as the other crowd. They are the wheel. They just kind of stand there confused and then disperse, leaving behind Dr. Thistle, Dr. Thistle's little gummy friends, and their one interested customer. A magical, unique instrument. Oh, Stein, it's not a con. You're too skeptical of everything. Oh, yes, you are too skeptical there, little weird machine voice from somewhere. This is a unique instrument. One of a kind. You wouldn't find it anywhere else. And you can see that Ein is standing in front of Dr. Thistle, holding a carbon copy replica of your kazoo.
Oh, hello, Ein. Hello, Stein. Are you buying one of Dr. Thistle's magical instruments? I want to say that I bought one myself. I have it here, and it's actually magic. And Misha will take out their kazoo.
Classic unintentional Misha shade.
Oh, by the way, I never thanked you, Dr. Thistle, but this has really been very useful. You probably don't remember me, because I didn't remember you until very recently, but I want to thank you because this really has been a very magical and powerful instrument, and I've really liked it.
Dr. Thistle's face is just blank. You have 404'd this poor con person. They don't know how to respond.
Oh, maybe you do remember me. I don't know. I sometimes make a face like that when I remember somebody and sometimes when I don't remember somebody. So I don't really know what is going on, but I think they are excited.
Yes, I certainly am. Yeah, of course. Of course, I remember you, my customer from, that,
I am really bad at names. What was the name?
Leg rash.
From Leg Rush, that's what it is. From Leg Rush.
Oh, you need an ointment for some sort of rash? I suppose one of our instruments could solve that. I mean,
no. I meant the place. I guess Leg Rash.
Oh, leg rash. That name sounds familiar. Yes, it certainly sounds familiar. And I got you that one-of-a-kind unique instrument, not similar to anything else. And you can see they are just slowly taking the kazoo out of Ein's hands and slipping in another one that looks slightly different.
Well, could I maybe buy another one of your now not one of a kind, perhaps 2 or 3 of a kind for what I was able to observe magic instruments? I believe that Ein would want one, and after this is over, we could make a little band, a little concert of us playing this instrument together.
Ein looks stunned. A band?
Well, I thought so. I mean, I heard about bands when we were on the ship. There was a band class. I was not part of it, but I heard all about it and I thought it was very fun. So perhaps we could do one of these afterwards.
Afterwards? A band? After this is all over and we're safe and Ein suddenly gets more authoritative than she's ever been before. You! Salesperson! And Thistle's like, yes ma'am! I swear, no refunds. I want to order every single one of your instruments, and you can give the bill to one James Wynn.
Oh my god.
Vanessa already stole all their money.
Everyone except for Jimmy's. Jimmy didn't bet.
Guess that's true.
Jimmy didn't bet. You got a fees good for it.
Okay, so we are gonna move just a little bit to the right to Hop and Shock. Each of you are walking towards this thin tent with the pattern of a starry night sky on it. Penny in pocket. Why are you going the penny in pocket?
Stock up on stuff. And they've been here the whole time. So I didn't ask for a scene with them or anything, but I imagine Hop would go in and just say a quick, "Oh, glad you're here. Thank you for everything."
Yeah.
For supplying us literally our entire adventure.
Honestly, for Shock, it's half he wants to check on everyone and make sure everyone's okay, they've been having a nice time here in the wheel, everything's working out for them, and also, do they have any more spray flesh? Oh god, do they have any more spray flesh? Please.
All right, each of you walk in, each of you give me a perception roll.
Holy shit, dice.
12.
A 10.
Okay, so as you're walking up, you notice that it's weird. So the tent is usually a tent with like a single slit in the middle to walk through. But you notice that where that slit should be, there's actually 2 slits. And in that spot, there is another starry pattern. And you walk closer, kind of confused, like, that's weird. Why is that happening? And suddenly, Vespari's cape flows over. His starry cape almost knocks into both of you as he says, "Shock, Wizard of the East, and my good friend, the sad cowboy man, how are you two doing?"
Vespari, you're all right.
Of course I'm all right. They don't call me the safe Vespari for nothing. They don't call me that at all, but...
It's a good nickname, though. It's good to see you.
I was going to agree as well.
Yeah, it's a good name.
Have you two come shopping?
I mean, we certainly could use supplies
we were gonna stop
if
in.
there are any to be had.
Yeah.
Well, I was actually on my way out to do some advertising, and he floats his arms in the wiggly, inflatable two-man way.
Noodle arms.
Let me come inside and show you the renovations they've done.
By all means.
Yeah.
You walk inside, and it's Penny and Pocket. But it's brighter, there's more energy. There's people moving in and out, milling. It's not quite as frantic as it was at Key, but there's more energy to it and life. A lot of it emanating from this young man in a vest behind the counter, who, for the first time in a while, happily says, "Hi, welcome to Penny and Pocket, the best gear for the very best of adventurers and fans of the magician, the Vespari. My name's Hamish. How can I help you today?" And you notice that Penny and Pocket is split basically right down the middle. On the left side, there is typical stuff, books, adventuring supplies, all sorts of stuff. On the right side is just Vespari merch. Replications of his mask, pins with his face on it, a little tit book about how to do real esoteries, do real magic with nanopowers, how to train on that. The book is actually a play on his old motto. So his old motto, fake esoteries, real magic. This book is titled Real Esoteries, Realer Magic.
Oh.
A Vespari story.
Oh, the Vespari story.
And Vespari says, the realer magic is friendship.
Christ.
I have never been so unambiguously proud for an NPC. Look how far he has come. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Vespari's arc was as significant as the PCs.
What I like is that he's back to where he was, where he is a famous performer.
But
But it's like better this
But
time.
he has self-esteem now.
yeah, he has pride in what he does.
Yeah.
And Hamish immediately notices you and says, "Oh, customers, welcome to have you back. Tattertop, Ignatius, they're here." And Tattertop, who's still in the corner, but you notice a few NPCs have actually gone to talk to him. Like, you see Megan has gone there, and in fact, Adrian is leaving after having talked to Tattertop. Just goes, "I know, Hamish, they are the ones who brought us here." "Well, yes, but, So, what can I get you?"
I just need a few things, and Hopper has a small list, which he's gonna pick something up. I don't know what it is, but he's hopperscotch, so he's making last-minute prep.
Shock has a list that's just spray flesh, please.
Yeah,
Shit.
Shock's list, just potions, please.
Please.
We're pretty low on stock, but let me see what I can do. And Hamish walks behind the counter and starts rummaging underneath the counter for something.
Pounding out spray flesh.
Got plenty of spray metal, so if Misha or Ellie need healing.
Yeah, so you can take 4 items. I will let you take 4 items from the Penny and Pocket shop.
Yay!
Oh shit.
And you will have those items for free.
That's good, because I have 0 money.
Because, as Vespari says, yes, so when I was finding myself over the past couple of weeks, I ran across my good friend Hamish here. Hamish seemed torn up about something. And Hamish says from behind the counter, "Yeah, my existential crisis I was having?"
I think we remember.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out the reason is actually related to, and he points to a banner that Ignatius has finished making, this glowing, beautiful banner with all sorts of sparkles on it that says Penny and Pocket, going out of business sale. It turns out the business wasn't what I wanted at all.
Really?
Yeah, so I'd see all of, you adventurers going off and doing things, and it just, I don't know, I was so excited to help all of you, and no one wanted to buy stuff, and when they did in Key, I didn't like it. It was doing a magic show with no magic to show for it. Or something like that was what I told my good friend Hamish. So yeah, I like giving stuff, but I just don't know if the business was the best way to do it. So anyways, I took my considerable wealth from the Roulettia performances. You know those, the trash tank one where I tried to have you murdered. I got a considerable amount of money from those. And so I am funding a new shop for my good friend Hamish so he doesn't have to worry about all of those details anymore.
That's so great.
I'm glad those resources are going to good use, I guess.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I cannot thank both of you enough. Were it not for you helping me find myself, helping Hamish, my dear friend Hamish, find himself, I wouldn't be able to give you these commemorative buttons. And he pulls out 5 buttons, one for each of you and Ness.
Yes.
And it just has his face on it.
I love it.
They're actually double packed, so you can give one to a friend.
Thank you. This is great. And Vespari, I never got to thank you because you confronting your own things on the Prodigious helped me confront mine. And I don't think you ever knew that you helped with that, but I felt like you needed to. So thank you. And thank you for going out and doing this, living your dream. This is really great and really inspiring, and I'm really happy for you.
Shock is going to take one of the pins out, pin it to the front of his robe, and say, "Thank you. I'll keep it close always."
Okay! And Hamish has pulled out a briefcase, the one that he had for his little portable shop in Roulettia, and he pops it open. Here's what I've got for you. And inside will be 4 items. What items do you want?
Are there any limits on these items?
Nope.
Okay, because I don't want to be mean and be like, well, there's no point taking less than the max spray things, but if there really is no point in taking less than max. All right, so then do we want a spray flesh max, a spray vein max? We could go for another spray metal too. I already have some, but we could always do another. We could also get something that isn't healing.
I was eyeing the biggest rock for no reason at all. I just was like, a rock.
Just a rock.
Yeah, that sounds.
You could just pick that up off the ground, though.
I mean, but would it be the biggest one?
Probably.
No.
Probably.
No.
Look.
If you took the biggest rock, I would try to use it. But technically, Ellie is the biggest rock.
I am a rock. What would you like me to do?
We don't need to take the biggest rock. We can take more healing items.
Would that be acceptable?
Acceptable, but boring.
Well, what weird things could I buy here? I don't want glow globes. I've got those. Whisper locks.
We could get the Gerald Memorial Glass Jar.
We could get the Gerald Memorial Glass Jar.
That would be nice. That would be like a nice end game sentimental thing to carry away with us for free.
Maybe I want this. I want to feel like I've been hoarding potions the entire game. And also, a bit of fear was put into my heart during the lady fight when I was like, oh, that's my only spray flesh. Ha 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 ha. All right. Gerald Memorial Glass Jar. Fine, we're taking the Gerald Memorial Glass Jar.
Yeah, we are.
In memory of Gerald, year Y-3 to Y-0.
This will be the pivotal moment in our fine battle.
It plays a song every time you pull it out. Just like one of those in memoriam songs.
Gerald was 3?
So it's a music box.
I guess.
Just gonna gloss over that?
I caught you there. Oh, I've cracked open the case. It's the music box.
Okay, Ellie. In almost every other case, running into someone was incidental. Misha heard Dr. Thistle's song. You ran across Zoe. This person, you're going to see intentionally. How do you feel standing outside of June's RV again?
There's a pit of dread in her stomach. And there's a feeling of meeting the family of someone you're dating or meeting a advisory professor or something. Somebody who you want to impress and you're scared of. and she's gonna knock, and she's gonna put her biceps into a proper door knock.
So you walk up and you hear laughter from inside. It sounds vaguely familiar, but you can't figure out quite what it is.
Oh no. Oh no, I just realized who's there. I realized who I put on my list.
And you knock on and you hear June oddly jovial saying, yes, who is that?
It's Ellie Badge.
Oh, Ellie Badge, huh? Do you want her in here? Are you sure? All right, open up. And you walk in and you see a few figures. You see June standing on the left. Next to her, you see this skeleton in a box with a chopped off head that is displaying some cryptic words. And standing next to him, just laughing, delighted at just this little thing, you see the worst person you could imagine talking to June. You see Ray.
June is like a cooler, tougher Ellie.
This device is absolutely delightful, June. How did you say you ran across it again? Zoe, the kid, she just found out there's someone in the beyond, named him Steven.
Yeah, I've never really asked her for details about that. Like, what prompted her to take this potentially human skeleton and just take it around with her?
Ray turns to you and raises her eyebrows. You, Ellie Badge, of all people, would question why someone would do something like that.
Ellie cringes a little bit. That is a valid point, but also I have no arguments. Also that. No, I came here to, I came here with a mission, and I won't be distracted from my mission.
Well, take a seat. Princess Brackleberry over here has been telling me all sorts of interesting stories. And she goes back into a story that Ray was clearly in the middle of telling. So you're telling me she's afraid of going on boats? Heh! Always knew I was tougher.
Ellie is shrinking into herself. I came to tell you that I am working very hard, and I'm going to continue to build and improve my relationship with my daughter, and I wanted you to know that I care about her very much, and I have told her this, but I wanted you to know as well because I know you were concerned. But I'm actually now just hanging out here feeling kind of inadequate because you're like really cool and tough and buff. You know?
You have two of the scariest women in the world staring at you.
She's so afraid, Kyle.
Ray looks at you. Her arms are crossed, but she just has a warm smile on her lips. And she looks over to June, and June looks at you. She eyes you up and down. Give me a speed defense roll.
2, which feels right.
Take 3 points of
You can't
might damage past armor.
Past armor?
Yeah.
So it was 9 damage in total.
So 9 points total.
But you can't just start taking away my might.
You'll heal
right
beforehand. You'll get a full heal.
Okay, fine.
As June lunges towards you and slams both of her fists into your back in an extremely hard and aggressive hug. I missed you too, Ellie Badge. Now come, we're asking Steven questions. And she motions you over to ask more questions with Steven.
Ellie did her hardest hug ever. It wasn't enough.
June barely felt it. But she didn't want to be awkward, so she wasn't gonna bring it up. That was a fun, awkward family reunion. Do we want to have one that's worse? We're getting near the end of our time. You can tell the Apocrypha is close. Ellie is spending this time with June, Steven, and Ray. Hop is spending the time with somebody. I'm not sure who. Ness, I'm going to say, is spending his time with Jimmy. He's just hanging out with Jimmy.
Yeah, he's hanging out. He's been conspicuously absent all night, but right now he is with Jimmy.
Shock and Misha, however, you meet up because you're both looking for certain figures. And so you bump into each other outside of Shock's house while looking for these folks.
Oh, hello, Misha.
Oh, hello, Shock. Sorry, I didn't see you there.
Oh, I was lost in thought, so I wasn't paying close attention either. I was just stopping by home because I haven't had a chance to talk to Horace and Jaquel all day.
I was looking for, I was looking for someone, but I don't know where he is. I kind of dropped him off, and I don't know where he went. Maybe he's here.
Well, if he isn't, I know that Jaquel will know. Jaquel knows where everybody is at all times here. Even now, I don't quite understand how it works. And then Shock will awkwardly, get the door for Misha and after you.
Misha was also going to get the door for Shock.
Nailed it.
And we're like, I guess we could try to go together. Do we both fit in here?
They're just going to try and go through the door at the same time.
God.
I don't think this door was built for two people at once. This may not have been our best idea.
I still like it. I guess it makes us be closer, and it's always needed after, what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. And we're just both wedged in a door frame together, holding hands. This is...
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing? So this is where they find us. Just wedged in a door frame.
Trying to get in.
Eventually you hear a voice say, "Are you two just going to stand there all day, or are you going to come in?"
I'll get him, J.K. Would you be so kind as to help me, my new furry friend?
Yes, of course I can help you. And you each feel two hands. You actually feel a toothless dog mouth pull on your hand, Shock. And Misha, you feel a segmented robotic hand pull on yours. As Horace and FaZe the dog man pull you through the door into the house, where you can see they've set up kind of overlooking, watching everyone else.
Oh, thank you. Dad? Is what Misha is going to say to FaZe.
Dad, not Dad, FaZe! And the just thump, 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 his little dog tail is just thumping real hard against the ground.
Oh, Misha's going to I assume that they have seen FaZe because they brought FaZe, but they're going to hug FaZe anyways.
He lunges in for a hug real hard.
I didn't realize how much I missed this. It's also because I forgot about it for a long time, but, I really like your hugs, FaZe. Dad, if I can call you that, I don't know.
Of course! And forgetting isn't... I forget all of the...
Oh, no.
And he stares for a second, having forgotten what he was about to say.
Oh, no.
And he turns back to you and says, "Let me show you spot! Let me show you my spot!"
I would love to see it.
He runs off to show you there was a seat for Horace, a little perching space for Jaquel, and then there is a little dog bed.
Oh.
And FaZe runs off to show you his view, and actually you can see he nudges to the side a little bit, giving you space to sit down next to him.
Oh, it's beautiful. Misha's gonna turn to Horace and Jaquel. Thank you very much for providing these accommodations here for my dad.
It was not a problem at all, Misha.
Not a problem at all, Horace. We literally upended the entire house to make this happen. It was...
What I meant to say is, it was our pleasure.
Well, of course it was our pleasure. Horace, you need to be more specific when you say things in the future. Otherwise, you make me look like a fool.
Thank you, anyways. This is a really lovely space. And then Misha will just watch the sunset with FaZe. Well, the scarf is hugging FaZe as well.
And Shock, that means we've got one last before the final scene. Shock, that leaves you with Horace and Jaquel.
Yeah. Shock will say, thank you for being so welcoming to my friends and all the loved ones we've brought here. And for helping me both the other night and through my whole life. And Shock is like tearing up a little bit. I don't know how things are going to go soon. It's going to be our most dangerous adventure yet. And I just want to tell you that I love you both. And feeling a little emboldened by Misha's proclamation, I couldn't have asked for better fathers.
You continue to surprise and delight me, Shock. When I found you in the wastes, I knew that you would bring things that the wheel could never have imagined. And yet, somehow I underestimated you nonetheless. In only a few days, you've turned the wheel into someplace wonderfully unfamiliar. And when I had spent years trying to say it, building courage I was certain I didn't have, you were able to call what we were so easily. I am so incredibly proud of you, son.
And Shock will hug them.
And they will both hug you back. There is one thing I'm surprised by, though, Horace. You said it was a big deal to call him your son, like a big thing you were afraid to do?
Well, of course, J.K. We both spent years not saying it after all. Of course, it was challenging.
What do you mean we both spent years not saying it? Of course I knew he was our son.
Is that so? In that case, why didn't you say anything?
Well, I just kind of thought it was, assumed. It's one of those assumed things, Horace. And those two go off, squabbling with one another. All right, we've got one last scene. One last group of folks to see. Where did you leave the ladybug? Where are you going to take off for your fight against the cloud?
Honestly, I kind of feel like it's still on the beach.
We just left it there. It's as good a place as any.
Might as well.
Down at the beach, we see a small family, our few final NPCs. If you were staring at them for a second, you could swear you see Mauve and Mako, but you see something new, something they would argue is better. Jesse is at the back of the ladybug. They were determined when they heard that it had been injured to fix it. And after a few days hard labor, you can see they have solidly put on a third tarp in the back.
That was God.
You now have 3 tarps in the back.
I'm so happy.
But they're putting a lot of effort into it, really tying things down, knotting them. Next to Jesse, you can see Everett is sitting there. He's fiercely blinking his eyes, changing colors to see the perfect different direction. So he changes it once to make sure that the layers are overlapping correctly. At one point he blinks his eyes and his pupils become the little floating air bubble in the levelers. So they just move to the left and right to make sure he can see that everything is level. And next to him you can see this little thimble. This tiny, tiny version of the robot model that Treddy is, just sitting there hovering next to Everett and helpfully, quote unquote, whistling instructions along. So it'd be things like Jesse saying, so I move it here? And Everett going, no, Jesse, you a little bit up and to the... Exactly what Viola said. You're putting a corner where you already put a corner. You have to put it someplace else. Oh, right. 1 corner for each part because it lays down. Got it. And the 4 of you walk down as they're putting the final touches on this piece of tarp.
You guys did a great job.
It really looks nice.
Ladybug's never been better.
I mean, we should probably acknowledge that we tore the entire back off.
We're really sorry about that.
I said it's never been better.
I was on the driver's seat. I don't know if I had anything to do with that particular incident.
Thanks. I think it looks pretty great, too, now that I've got all of the corners. And Jesse pops their head out and looks at Everett, who just nods. Yes, all of the corners are on correctly. Let me get my stuff and I'll get back out. And Jesse, you can hear just some rummaging. It's one of those just various noises. You don't know what they have in there, and you're a little bit concerned with all of the sounds you're hearing from inside the ladybug.
While that's happening, Ellie is going to hold out a hand to the thimble.
And the thimble that you gave Jesse and Everett, who Everett is named Viola, kind of nervously goes towards you and makes a noise towards Everett, and Everett just nods and she rushes up and kind of settles on your finger.
She's gonna let the little thimble, she had that brooch from Hopper that it liked to cuddle with. She's gonna go let it sit next to her brooch. Have you been taking good care of them?
Yes.
Oh, I was talking to the thimble, but I'm glad you've been doing the same.
And Everett blushes and is like, fine. And he looks over at you, and you can see the corner of his eye for a second. He's like, no, wait, give me a second. And he just starts blinking. Where is it? Got it. And he turns over to face all of you. You can see his eyes, for the first time, normally it'd be covered by a tuft of hair. His eyes are a different color than they normally were. Normally they'd be something like pink or black to see something specific, or red, purple. I'm just giving random colors now. His eyes have a different color to see a different purpose. But this time there's something different, because you see in his eyes a kaleidoscope of color, a rainbow of expression. You see all the colors.
Fuck you.
So I guess you're all heading out soon, huh?
Yeah, looks that way.
But we'll be careful. We're going to do everything we can to come back.
You better be. You coming back was why I... And he kind of nervously scratches his head, trying to get up the courage to say something. And instead of saying that, he just says, Mom would never forgive you if you didn't. And that's when the side of the ladybug just bursts open. You can see a hinge actually, just a few nuts fly off. Jesse's clearly broken some of it.
God.
And they pop out and say, everybody, we did the ladybug. What do you think? Oh no, wait, you already told us what you thought. I'm sorry. I'm so excited.
It's very wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse.
Well, yeah, of course. I can't think of what to say.
Maybe the party doesn't say anything for a little bit. Maybe we just enjoy the setting sun and each other's company.
I want to say that Misha will turn to, especially Everett, because he's the one that talked about the coming back thing, and say, look, we are going to come back because there is a concert that you're all invited to, and it will be after we return. So you better believe that it can't happen without all of us in here. And if they haven't received one of the kazoos, they receive them now.
God, that's so cute.
Everett holds that thing so fucking close.
God.
So you strum it?
Oh, I can teach you how to do it. Look, let me show you. And that can be one of the things that happen as we
Misha,
enjoy
you and Everett go off. Shock, I'd say you probably join them. And Ellie, you just step as far away from the sound as possible.
I'm not supposed to be a part of that, am I? I didn't agree to that. Hopper.
I don't know what Misha's talking about either.
Okay.
But I guess a concert is what we're coming back to. Oh, can I turn to Jesse and ask, Jesse, were you able to resign from working for the Queen of Charmande?
Oh, yeah, that, no problem at all. I just can't enter Navarine under threat of death from bounty hunters, but I think it went really well.
That's better than some outcomes. So yeah, just don't go to Navarine.
We can still go to Gone. Everett and I are going to go there for a vacation.
That's great. So you're really settling in together in the post-adventure life.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, we still go on adventures, of course. Just different kinds. The other day, Everett had this big thing that he wanted to cook, and he couldn't find the ingredients anywhere, so I had to. And Jesse goes on this rant about this extremely harrowing, nail-biting adventure that they went on in order to score a single papaya.
Hopper is enthralled.
There was drama and romance, and it was a lot like Quest Friends. It was one of those, you're surprised the adventure only took place within a single day, when it feels like the story would have taken months to explain.
We don't leave until like the next day because Jesse is too busy explaining the story that Hopper asked about.
Lowell stays his hand to hear the end of the story.
Yep, the papaya adventures. The tale of the papaya pals.
Papaya pals?
Papaya pals.
They were a band of renegades that Jesse had to befriend.
So proud of Jesse. Jesse, I want to thank you again. You have been more than a help since Charmonde, but you've become a friend. And I'm really glad that you and Everett have come back. Thank you for giving us the ladybug and fixing it up and helping us along the way. And, I really wanted to express that on the Prodigious, and I didn't really have anything, but I was looking through my equipment last night, and I found this, and he pulls out 2 harmonic calculators. I have 2 of them, and I thought, I don't know, I don't really need 2 harmonic calculators, and I thought maybe you would like one. If you don't want it, you don't have to, but I know that you would get oddities for the Queen of Charmonde, and I don't know if you ever got to keep any of them. So in case you didn't, and that was something you wanted, this is an oddity, and it's pretty cool. It'll do math and music at the same time, so you can use it for the concert if you want. I just had 2, so I thought maybe, just as a token of my appreciation and friendship.
They take it. Jesse wants to say a lot. You were their hero when you met them. And now you're someone who so far exceeded those expectations, yet to say you are still their hero would be disingenuous. And that's a series of emotions that's too complicated for me to explain, much less Jesse. All they can say is, "Well, that's great, Mr. Hopper. Hopper, that's great, Hopper. I needed something for the concert." It's time to go. Before the sun sets, the cloud will be here. So, Ellie, Shock, Misha, and Hop, you look back one last time on those people you're entrusting the wheel with, and you step into the ladybug.
Wait! Hold up!
Shock will step back out.
And then Ness comes pitter-pattering down to the beach, stops in front of the ladybug, heaves in and out, because he wore himself out as a robot running. Really glad I got everybody. Listen, I came to a realization, and you can tell he's kind of trying, he wants to chicken out of saying what he's gonna say, but then he, leans back and touches the little chair that Ellie gave him, that he has, fashioned to his backpack, like a little hiker pack. And he touches it, and that seems to give him the confidence he needs. Then he says, I'm gonna help you guys beat up the cloud, because I didn't need help, and I was happy before Shock found me, but, Shock gave me, I think they call it a home, and because of that, I want to help protect Shock's home. But then I came to a second realization. I was walking around and seeing all these people from various different locations collecting themselves into small teams, and I realized this is regionals, and this is where I belong. So I'm gonna stay down here, and I want to help all your other friends you've made along the way. I don't know how you guys did. You're really bad at making friends. I am, completely befuddled at how many people are here. It was super weird learning more about you guys than Shock has ever told me from these randos. But that's what regionals is all about. So, and then he straightens up a little bit and does a little salute. I'm gonna hold down the fort here.
You're gonna do great, Ness. And there's no one else I'd trust more to make sure the wheel stays safe. And I'm glad you're here, because I have something for you too. And it's at this point I should note that we didn't finish going over my tier 6 level up earlier. We did not discuss my focus ability at this tier, which is a little up in the air. In the core book, it was a weird mind control power. We weren't about that. In Numenera 2.0, it offers another option, which we tweaked a little bit. It offers an upgrade for your machine companion as an alternate tier 6 power. And to start with mechanically, Shock takes out a mini, jetpack upgrade to the backpack that he's been working on the side and hands it to Ness. But more mechanically than that, Ness gets his own character sheet now.
What?
Ness is a PC.
What?
Tier 3.
He gets a little tier 3 PC sheet. I'm crying a little bit.
You are your own hero, Ness, and I know you can do really great things. So I won't be worried at all about everyone down here, because I know they've all got you looking out for them. And Shock's gonna reach down and hug Ness.
Ness will hug Shock back, and in the middle of the hug, he'll say, I think that beating up the cloud is gonna be a lot harder than that rope climbing thing that you were really bad at. And I'd like to stress again, you were really bad at it. So, be better this time, okay? And then he hugs Shock one last time and will nuzzle his little face into Shock's, robe. And then he'll separate. And he will actually go hug everybody's legs, really fast, because he doesn't want to dwell. He just wants to go and deal with this.
Ellie, as he tries to scramble away from her, will grab him by the chair.
Oh.
And then do her gentlest possible hug and then let him go scramble off. She needed that for her. I'm sorry you can't have your nice, simple closure, Ness. Ellie needs a hug.
Well, Ness will, if Ellie pulls him into that hug, he will, also do a really quick nozzle like he did with Shock in the folds of Ellie's shawl. And then after that, he's gonna scamper up the hill.
Wait! There's another character! What are you talking about?
No, he's because, listen.
I just wanted the scarf to cover Ness in a hug.
Oh,
and then
okay,
you're
do
just
that.
leaving up the hill without
No! Well, okay, let me tell you what I was gonna do. He was gonna go up to the hill and he was gonna do the little fisticuffs things like he did with Misha.
Oh.
When they were both awake.
Oh, yeah.
But that was gonna be specifically for Misha.
Oh.
He was gonna yell hey Misha, fisticuffs! And then run away. This has been called it one time. But if you want to do the scarf.
No, we can do both.
I almost had him go back for more hugs.
I'm gonna say Ness runs to do that, but the scarf, completely uncontrolled by Misha, just grabs him instead as he tries to run away and do this cute emotional thing.
Misha will do that as the scarf just pulls Ness back.
That was legit because he's kind of wrestling with the scarf because it's trying to
Just
hug it.
fisticuffing at each other while the scarf hugs. Yes.
Fisticuffing.
Also, I know Hop is you, but you should probably do something with Hop.
Oh, that's right.
I know, I was trying to think because for Hop, he's gonna do the leg hug, but it's gonna be to both legs. That kind of hug that little kids do because they're not very tall. And Hop will reciprocate by leaning down to Ness's level. And he's gonna just say you'll do great, Ness. And Ness will respond, yeah. Of course I'm gonna do great. You didn't need to say it just because you're nice. And Hopper's kind of doing the math meme. It was said as an insult, but the content of it doesn't quite match up with an insult. You're the good at being careful one. So keep doing that. And then he's gonna run up the little hill that leads up to the main space, and then he'll turn around one last time and wave to everybody before disappearing down the way.
And now's the point for a shift in view. We've spent this last day revisiting old friends, having new awkward interactions, and it's time for you all to go off and face the Apocrypha, to have this fight finally. But you aren't the only ones who are going to be fighting. Ness, you duck around the corner, and you seem to go out of view, but you actually peek back out to watch the ladybug as it picks up and flies out into the sky. As you do, you can hear everyone around you. The cars of the Speedy Speed Boy engines revving up. You can hear a whole bunch of people giving dramatic Aragorn-like speeches. But as these speeches happen, your vision is focused instead on a small, glassy black hole in the sky that seems to be getting bigger.
Ness pulls out the Kentrum kerchief and ties it around his forehead.
A full PC now.
He's a full PC now. Oh my god.
We've had to keep the secret for so long. I've kept having to ask Kyle, like, are we telling Hallie about the PC thing this session? When do we do this?
God.
Oh, sorry. I just want to get a full profile of you. So what is your occupation in this? I just need to make a quick biography here in my notebook. I do that for every people I met, and I haven't met you before, so...
She's great. Yeah.
All right. I can write that.
This is A, familiar territory for Hopper. Somebody being like, what's your deal? I'm going to take officious notes. This is something he's comfortable with. And then B, Sarah just said he's great. So he perks up a little bit.
It definitely said she's great in relationship to Alex, but everyone heard he's, so we're rolling with it.
Then just, no, delete it. Delete everything I've ever said.
I also heard he.
Thank you, Tom.
I also heard he.
Thank you.
Alex wouldn't be like, I'll write that. Well, actually, she would. She would write that she is great.
Liz Maya is like, this feels in keeping.
I'll write that down, just sends a paper airplane to some random woman in the corner of the room. Hops like,
no, please, it's gonna be to Madeline, like, Sarah said I'm great. Just to say it.
What I'm saying is to Hop, it would look like you just wrote down a note and threw it to some random woman in the room.
Oh yeah,
That is what it looks like. That's because that's what it is.
Anyways, he's great, is what she says, and Hop perks up.
No, it's his friend, Shaq? Is it Shaq that has
Shock.
spiders? Shock.
My friend Shock.
Zach. Everyone thinks his name is Zach from this point on.
No one respect him enough to say it right. Nobody do it. Bully.
Our good friend
Shock.
Zane.
Billy Zane.
I didn't think this would be the point where it gets truly derailed. I didn't think this is the point where we just jump the tracks.
Yeah.
Moments before Hop can successfully teleport everyone away. We're so close.
Guys, spiders, let's focus.
Right. I explained to everyone I'm meeting for the first time, like, this is a seatbelt and it's just sort of a 3-point contact system. It just keeps you in the event of a car accident. It's just like
Hopper loves the safety demonstration.
Yeah.
He loves it
Yeah,
so
see?
much.
Hannelore, it's like airline attendants. Whenever someone is making eye contact with them during their presentation, they're just like really feeding on it. So Hannelore just explains everything. And yeah, like and the lights, I can do floodlights. Like if it's really dark. No eating, please. Yeah.
No feet on the dash.
No feet on the dash. Clean shoes. I feel like there was something else, but I'll remember it eventually, or just...
I have all of your rules written down on this
Please,
notebook
please,
about your car safety rules if you want to read it on the ride, and she gives it to Hopper.
I would love to, he says with the utmost genuineness in his voice. I'm really interested in the kinds of things that Brockleberry Brigade have done. You have to, I would love to hear about it after all of this. And then he'll turn to make eye contact with Aerith and say, you have to tell me about the revolution at Key.
I absolutely will.
Yes.
I have a notebook where I have all of the important key things about the revolution. If you want it.
Would you be willing?
Oh, of course. I write this not only for me, but also for people interested enough to read it. I also wrote multiple copies.
Here, I'll just loan you my copy. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I wrote multiple copies. It's not the only one.
We all have signed copies.
Hand
yeah,
wrote
it's great.
each one, too.
I also am very curious to know what Aerith is hiding.
This is just the recent exploits.
Yeah, there's volumes and volumes and volumes.
Did I ever mention that We played the session where this plan was actually formed and everything happened a week before I finished editing the Cookie 3, and I was late on that. So there was just no plan for me running into my own future actions in the past at the end of the Cookie 3. I got to Hopper appears with the strong glass staff and thought, what the fuck?
That was like a year ago.
It was so long ago.
That we filmed that. And
and I would have just run into that.
And you still didn't know that was what you had to do. We all just sipped our tea and waited for him to come to the only conclusion.
I will remember this role for years afterwards as the most quintessentially Hallie moment. That in and out of character, you awkwardly chugged some punch, which you yourself had made to be spiked in a game that you ran, and you only had a 1 in 5 chance of getting it, and Kyle spitefully made it below numbers. And you rolled that.
It's how dare you call that a quintessentially Hallie moment? I don't disagree with you. I'm just mad about it.
That's fair.
This is the worst.
All right, so that, as expected, went quite a bit longer than expected. But that's fine. If this is a long episode, that's fine. And also, I can cut probably 2/3 of that.
That's the Cookie Crew experience. We can probably cut this.